Hi everyone. Happy Saturday, I guess. I'm Lana Quest and this is the Quest Show. I had no intention of coming on today, so forgive me because I am not organized, but my phone said something earlier today and it was like take a moment to reflect. And instead of reflecting, on my phone, I figured I'd come here and reflect with all of you. The crazy thing is, it's like, okay, this is Saturday. I wasn't going to watch politics. I was just going to hang out with the family. My grandson had like a basketball practice today, so we all went there this morning and like we're preparing for a big snowstorm. So like all of those things are happening. And then you go on Twitter and then you see like another shooting in Minneapolis. I don't know. Let's just work through our feelings because I know that I'm not the only one that has knots in their stomach. I'm not the only one that's like, when is enough enough? Like, I'm not the only one that's like, we told you that this was going to happen and no one listened, right? Like, you can say, well, Trump is doing these things and he's got ICE in these places because he's hiding from the Epstein stuff. I feel like he's doing this, even if there was no Epstein file, Trump would be doing this because this is what they do. Like, we already knew that white nationalism that's their jam. That's who they are. This is who Stephen Miller is. That maybe they aren't actually Nazis, but they do. They are running around with Nazi ideology. I don't know, but Vino looks like a whole Nazi in every presser he does. So let's get into what has brought us here today. Hi, everyone in the chat. Thank you for reposting this and reminding me to please share and subscribe to the channel. And again, I'm not really organized. Well, actually, to be honest, I'm not organized whenever I come on, but let's talk about what happened today. So Trump has started to target Minneapolis. I don't know, has it been like 3 weeks or a month ago after that right wing, they call him a social media influencer. I don't know what the frick he is, but he went out to Minnesota and claimed that these daycares were collecting all of this federal money and that there needed to be an investigation and whatever the case is. Trump ran with it as if he needed something to run with and said, oh, Minnesota and Somalis that are committing fraud, we got to get there and we got to get the Somalis out. Well, mind you, there was a fraud done by a group of Somalians, right? They're in jail. Like, it's been investigated. They have been convicted and they are in jail. But now, because, what Trump is doing is using that as this is why we're here. It's fraud. Like, which sensible people don't believe it. And as the title says, Nazis believe Nazis, right? So if you are of that group of people, you're going to listen to this nonsense. The rest of us know, no, this is an excuse and a reason for you to, one, attack Somalis because you're friggin' racist. to attack Minnesota because Minnesota did not vote for you. You lost in Minnesota because that's one of the things that he's complaining about. He's saying that Minnesota cheated and that he actually did win in Minnesota. And he hates Walz, right? He hates the governor of Minnesota. So all of these things are true. So he wants to actually, sorry, my phone. He wants to punish Minnesota right now. So that's the stew that he started stirring, right? It's the racism, fraud, like, so let's get in there and send ICE, right? They know what they're doing. Let's send ICE to create chaos because he's the king of chaos. And then to say, I need my people to come in there, or I need the military to go in there, or I need to call, like, the federal emergency and bring the military in there because look at what's going on, when we actually know that ICE are the ones that are creating the chaos. So after he sends ICE in Minnesota to get the Somalians out of Minnesota, right? Even the citizens, it didn't matter. It never did matter because it's not about fraud, because we also watched him pardon like 10 people who had committed fraud, and one woman had committed fraud and been convicted twice, and that he had pardoned already, and she had done it again and then got pardoned again. So like, it's not about fraud. So he sends them in, and then what happens? Renee Good happened, right? A 37-year-old mom, daughter, virtually minding her business, right? We saw the video. She's there with her wife. Yes, her wife was, confronting the ICE officer. What does that mean? Who friggin' cares? But she ends up being shot in the face, shot in the arm, shot in the chest by some cowardly ICE guy, who then leaves the scene. And then immediately after, maybe 15 minutes, you have Kristi Noem, or whatever the frick her name is, get on TV to call this woman, Renee Good, a domestic terrorist. Like right away, not knowing any of the specifics. Not only did she not know the specifics, she gave a whole story about what happened, right? It was like the ICE agents were digging their car out of the snow, and then she tried to run them over with her car, right? Like, that was just a lie, because we all saw with our eyes that this guy shot this woman in the face. The woman that had just told him, I'm not mad at you, dude, and had her dog in the car, and who had just dropped her kids off at school. So that's the woman that they call the domestic terrorist. So now Minnesota is protesting, right? Because you protest. It was wrong. ICE is wrong. This is what you get. So this is last night. And again, I just threw this stuff together. Thank you, everyone. Hey, baby, how are you? Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Again, I just popped on because I wanted us together to, get through this, talk about it. I'm not really organized right now. You'll hear my dog in the background scratching on his bed or something, but I'm just here. So last night in Minnesota, and again, these protests have been peaceful in Minnesota. They are really coming out, and just think about who Minnesota is, right? And I made this parallel yesterday to Ukraine, right? Ukraine is fighting for their freedom. Ukraine is fighting for democracy from a dictator who just invaded and tried to take land. So they are fighting back. Like, Minnesota is our Ukraine on a small level. Of course, you can't compare it, but the parallels are very similar, because Minnesota is the front line. What is happening in Minnesota is the test case, because if Minnesota stops fighting back and just leaves the status quo and lets ICE run amok, that means that Donald Trump and his administration are going to say, oh, that was easy. Next state. And we're going to stay in Minnesota, right? So that's kind of how Ukraine is, right? Ukraine is literally fighting for all of us, right? Because we are in NATO. And if Russia wins and beats Ukraine and Ukraine falls and Russia is allowed just to take whatever territory, Poland is next. If they attack Poland, who is in NATO, we all have to fight. Minnesota is the same. If Minnesota falls to these ICE goons, Nazis, Gestapo, whatever you want to call them, it's going to be on to the next state. So this was Minnesota yesterday, I believe it was.
And all these people are out today. Over 10,000 people now in downtown Minneapolis. And honestly, I don't know where most of these people came from. They just literally came out of nowhere. Yellow buses were dropping people off, things like that. Everybody's yelling ICE out. It is very cold, negative 30 degrees here in Minnesota. And all these people are out today. Crazy.
And that was yesterday, right? Peaceful, not an issue. Then today, this is what we see this afternoon.
Too much, man, and they keep pushing people, you know.
As you can see, ICE has him down. It looks like somebody's hitting him in the head and neck over there in the corner. You'll see him just beating on him. The guy is down on his knees right now. And then you're going to actually see him all the way down with all of them on top of him.
Oh, shit. What the?
Right? Now they've shot him. He's already down and being hit in the head, neck, shoulder. Now they shot him. But it didn't stop there. He's down and shots continue. I don't even know if you heard it and you probably saw this video. The shots continue. They don't even stop. Almost like Renee Good, right? One shot, he shot her and then turned around and kept shooting into the open window and then called her a fucking bee as her body propelled down the street in the car.
Fuck?
Those are more gunshots. Those are more gunshots into an already body that's down. We're still shooting him. So like one, he wasn't a threat initially, but he's damn sure not a fucking threat when he's lying lifeless on the ground.
Kill him? Did they fucking kill that guy? Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Not again. Are you fucking kidding me? That guy's dead. Yo, we need people on.
Yes, Alex Jeffrey, 37 years old, registered nurse. He's seen from the social media post and how they grabbed his social media like a nice guy, an athlete. He worked at a VA. They also said he was there and he actually was trying to help another woman, and that's how he started getting engaged right there with the ICE officers. I really don't have a lot. Like, I don't even know what to say, right? Because we see this and the administration in Bovino and Nome act like we're not seeing what we're seeing. And I think Donald Trump actually said to America, don't believe what you're seeing or hearing. Like, no, we're not going to believe what we hear from you liars. And that's a shame because you cannot believe it. You cannot believe them because, of course, Bovino has already come out and lied. You want to hear his lie? Let's go on and hear his lie.
Had two loaded magazines and no accessible ID. This
2 magazines and no accessible ID.
looks like a situation where an individual wanted to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement.
That's quite an assumption. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? How did you get that from there? Did he leave a note? Was there a note somewhere that said that was his intent? Was that on his social media that said, I am going to a protest to go do maximal damage? Hey, MAGA, why is it a bad thing now to walk around with your gun? Because Minnesota is open and concealed. He was registered. He was licensed to have that gun. So now ICE is telling us that is a problem. So because he had a gun on him, we're going to assume he was going to do maximal damage? Like, what are we talking about right now? So the Second Amendment doesn't apply to people who are libtards, right? Like if a liberal has a gun, and we don't even know if this is a liberal. Let's just be honest and fair. Like, we don't know this guy's political lean. He could have just been here because he knows that what ICE is doing is wrong. Right? True. Why can't he have a gun? He had 2 loaded magazines. So that's the problem? He was there to do maximal damage. The video before this one, he was just taking video of ICE. Like, what was the maximal damage? He was the one that was getting the beat down. But this is how they spin it. And in the same press conference, Bovino was asked by a reporter, and she prefaced it, I saw the video and I slowed down the video and I never saw him reach for the gun. And that's what she said to Bovino. Like, she said, I never saw him reach for a gun. So why are you saying that it was his intent to do harm? Guess what Bovino did? In the press conference, he just stopped it. He's done. Press conference? What press conference? What press conference? Also, what investigation? Right? He's just telling them, and they leave. They shoot a man multiple times, and then they just walk off and leave. Like, okay, yeah, whatever. All in a day's work. Did y'all get video of that? You got video? Oh yeah, cool. High five. We taught them. We told you. Told you this was going to happen. We told all of you. Not going to blame Hispanics, but we also told you when you were voting for him, when you were cheering, yay, Mr. Trump, yay, right? And he lied to you. But you can't trust the snake in the grass. Like, you can't trust him. Just like you can't trust him to run a government. He has bankruptcies. How many? 7? Who knows? Why would you trust that person to run your government? What is going to change? What is going to make him a better business person? If he wasn't before, you just give him more things to deal with. If he's a felon and you voted for him, why you put a criminal in the White House? What do you think is going to be different? Then he's not going to run a criminal enterprise? Of course he is. Of course he's going to use it to grift. You put someone who defrauded insurance companies. He stole from his own charity. You put that guy in office and then expect him to do right by our tax dollar money. What did you think? You put a guy that in his first term in office had a goal to separate children from their families, separated those kids from their families, put them in cages, and then had no way of retracing what kid, what parent. Like, they didn't keep track. There was no database. Biden spent a lot of time trying to reconnect families, right? And this is to Hispanics. He did that to you. The first term, he did that to you. And then you turned around and thought, because the white man said that, nope, only getting the criminals, you guys are good because you're better than them, right? Then you vote, you believed it, like you erased, you cleansed his hands, right, of all of the bad that he did, and then said, I'm going to vote for him. I'm not saying anyone deserves this, because no one deserves this. No one deserves what we're going through now. But the people who voted against this and who tried to warn everyone knew that there would be death, destruction, and chaos throughout his term. Like, we had already known that it was going to be horrific because they announced it in Project 2025. But again, no one wanted to listen. And it's funny because the MAGA wonder why we call them Nazis when Bovino literally gets on stage doing a presser dressed like, I don't know, he worked for Hitler. Like, that's what he looks like. Yeah, people are learning the hard way of the power of the vote. You're right, baby Juggernaut. I'm just reading the chat right now. Yeah, we've been you for real. We've been you, and we have been warning people. And here's another warning. It's going to get worse. It's a new warning, because not only did this happen, and I have to mention Keith Porter, right? Because it's been 3. We always forget about Keith Porter, the Black man who on New Year's, shot some celebratory rounds, and then I think he was an off-duty ICE agent, swore that he thought that, somebody was shooting at, I don't know. He just shot him dead. I don't even remember what ICE's excuse was, but that happened as well. So you have Keith Porter, you have Alex Jeffrey, and you have Renee Good. And not to even mention the people in detention that have died, right? I don't even know what that number is, but it's dozens and dozens of them. It may be hundreds. I'm unclear about that, but I know that people are dying in detention centers, people that need their medication. I know that they are picking up Americans off the street and just throwing them in detention centers for days on end. And then, like, after a few days, like, oh, sorry, you're not supposed to be here. Free to go. So that's what they're doing to people. I saw a video of an ICE agent. This woman asked, hey, why are you doing this? And he said, no, basically, I only have a high school diploma and I'm making $100,000 a year, but I would do this for free. They would do it for free. That's this kind of guy, because, factually, a lot of the ICE agents have left. They've quit because there are a number of them that were like, this is a bridge too far for me. So we know that the ones that have stayed The ones that are here now doing this are the ones that are actually getting pleasure from it. Like this is their wet dream right now. Like they love, right? You're not going to find them in the hood or the real bad areas where the bad people are. You're going to find them where you find them, messing with registered nurses, housewives, just regular kids, right? Because now kids are the problem. Kids are the problems. Let's check out the kids. Let's see the criminals, right? Like the next criminal that they went after. Let's get that.
Name. What is your name? No. Stop.
Wait, is that a pedo? No. Rapist? No. Gang member? No.
Stop. No.
Terrified child? Yeah. Yep.
What is your name? What is your name?
Literally have a child. And come to find out, a citizen in the streets without a coat, without gloves on, in the snow, just in the snow.
Somebody, do you have a warrant for his arrest? Do you have
crying? But guess what? They don't care because he's brown, right? They don't even see human, right? That's not human. If he's blonde, blue-eyed, maybe he would be looked at as human. He's not human. He's Hispanic. We don't care.
Keep blowing your whistle. What is your phone number?
Hey, Michelle.
Oh my God.
So kids still in the cold, still in negative degrees. Is it a pedo? Y'all tell me. Is that a pedophile down there that they're getting? Is that the worst of the worst that ICE is rounding up? Is that who that is? Is that a member of a gang? A kid in his fucking pajamas? In the cold? Crying?
Get the fuck out of here. Come on, man. Show your fucking face. Bitch ass pussy.
Hushed tones behind your back for the rest of your fucking life.
A child.
Look at more ICE, right? Because we need so many of them to get a fucking child. And why are you taking a child? Like, is kidnapping? Like, what is this? And again, the only people that think something like this is okay are fucking Nazis. Like fascists. Like, why is that okay for anyone to do to a child? To a child, whether they're undocumented or not. This one happens to be a citizen, but that is a child. Why are we taking children?
A child.
And stop lying. If there's anyone out there that's like, oh no, they're just taking people that are illegal aliens. They're lying, and they know that they're lying because there's way too many videos that we get. It don't take a genius to Google a video and just see a video of what we just saw. Them taking a child who is here legally. We saw them go into Target, take 2 kids out of Target that were working, took them out of Target. They're saying, our identifications are in our pockets. They don't want to hear it. Why? Because they need to record this, right? They need to record it for their orange daddy so they can get a hard on for Stephen Miller and all of them so they can have like their database of video of how freaking tough they are with rounding up the kids. We're rounding up the kids. We're really tough, man. So they take the kids, grab them up, just dozens of ICE agents for 2 kids. Take them from, again, kidnapping. Why are you taking minors? Why are you taking minors? Because you don't care, because they're brown and Trump says do what the fuck you want, right? And then when they take the kids and then find out that, oh, yeah, they are legal, what do for shits and giggles? We took them from Target. Let's drop them off at a Walmart parking lot. That shit's so funny. And that's what they did. They dropped them off at a Walmart parking lot. Just drop them. That shit's funny. Like, what? Yeah, because it's about the brutality. It's about the brutality. They don't care. They don't care if you're a citizen. We just watch them another video again. It doesn't matter about whether you're a citizen or not, right? And I know I just did a tirade about like Hispanics actually voted for this, right? Like y'all voted for this. But at the end of the day, whatever color you are, we can't support it. We can't be like, well, you know what? They voted for it. We can't do that because guess what? They're also Renee Good. She's a white lady, right? Some white women voted for this, right? So what do? Not talk about Renee Good? That don't make sense, right? Black people, there are black MAGAs. Some black people voted for this, but I just watched them go and take a man from Maine who was a corrections officer, a black corrections officer here legally. They took him. He's saying my ID is in my car. Not only did they just take him, they left his shit in his car, his ID, his wallet, his car running just in the middle of the street and just took him on. Wife didn't know where he was. A good Samaritan just went in his car and saw his ID and drove his car to his house to tell his wife, pregnant wife at that. I don't even know if he's been released yet. Because again, we will hold you for shits and giggles and say, oh no, we're still looking into it. Right? So we still, black people cannot afford to be silent about that, to say, no, this is a Hispanic problem, because it is not a Hispanic problem. It is all of our problems. All of us. They want us to be like, nope, their problem, nope, their problem, nope, their problem. That's what they want. They don't want black people to be on the side of Hispanics, or Hispanics to be on the side of blacks, or whites to be involved. They want us all fighting against each other, because that is ultimately the plan. I am not telling you to go out and protest. I don't know. Do how you can do, right? Do what you can do, but what you cannot do is be complicit. So whether you're out in the streets protesting, whether you're online talking about it, whether you're talking to your friends about it, whether you're getting people registered to vote, whereas you're getting teenagers pre-registered to vote, you have to do something. Now's the time. We can't continue like this. Because if midterms come and go, and that's a whole nother thing that we will discuss at a later date, how Trump is trying to cheat and Republicans are going to try to cheat their way through the midterms. We have to be able to get Congress back, because you cannot depend on Congress right now. They will do nothing. Republicans in Congress, they don't care if 5 shootings a day by ICE happen. They will not say anything. And Republicans will do what they do. They will go on Fox TV, right? They will go on CBS because they own CBS right now. They will flood TikTok because Trump's wealthy friends own TikTok with videos of Bovino telling the country what really happened, right? So our voices have to be equally as more loud, right? We have to try to flood whatever zones that we have at our disposal because they have a machine. We cannot be upset with Democratic lawmakers because they can only do what they can do. And their levers they don't have much that they can do. Even the governor, right? Every time I see Walz, he looks older. I don't even know how that's possible because he looked pretty old when he was running with Kamala, but he's looking really old and he's looking exhausted right now. And there's only so much that he can do, even as the governor, right? They literally have like Minnesota, 600 cops they were saying, but then ICE agents are like 3,000. What are you gonna do with that? What do you do? What do you do? Tell your police like fight ICE agents? You know what I'm saying? Like it's gotta be the protesting and it's gotta be the ballot boxes. And you really have to think about, yeah, this is getting dangerous. Yeah, you run a risk when you're online talking about them getting doxxed. Like there are risks. But I always go back to the civil rights movement, right? This still ain't nothing. This stuff is a shock for us in 2026, but it was nothing. That was nothing. Martin Luther King's home, how many times was that firebombed? 4? Malcolm X's home, how many times? Churches were firebombed. Buses were firebombed. There were dogs. There were water hoses. They were getting beat down during marches. So yes, this is a horrible what we are going through. But we also have an advantage. We have an advantage of learning from history and how they did it and the things that are at our disposal today. We have to use it. I mean, but what else are we gonna do? We can't give up. Can't give up. It's easy to give up. It's hard to keep moving. I mean, I felt it today, like my stomach had pits, and I feel better now that I'm here talking to you guys. I had the pit in my stomach after it happened. Like, I'm just tired of being not happy. Like, just generally, you can smile and you have the good days. Like I said, I went to my grandson's like basketball practice and there were smiles, but then it's still in the back of your head. Like there's a friggin' Nazi as our president who doesn't care. It's like, this show could be like 3 hours because we're just talking about immigration and we're not even talking about all of the things that happened this week. We're not even talking about the 5 or 6 year old or the kids that they've kidnapped from Minneapolis schools, right? We're not even talking about them. The 12-year-old, the 10-year-old, the 5-year-old that they use as bait to get the family to open the door. Remember that happened? The little kid? But then ICE said, oh, wait, hold on. Let's let Bovino talk about this. Hold up before we cut, because we do have Bovino talking about how they treat the kids.
Here in the U.S. Border, here in the U.S. Border Patrol, I will say unequivocally that we are experts in dealing with children. Let me say that again: experts in dealing with children.
Experts in dealing with children. Hold on one second. Hold on. Let's go back. Stop! Experts in dealing with children. You heard it yourself. Experts in dealing with children. Again, y'all don't remember, let's see, Trump's first term when the kids didn't get soap, they didn't get toothpaste, and they were put in cages. But they're experts in dealing with children. It's only a matter of time before the children are being shot, right? Then what will be the excuse then? They're domestic terrorists as well, because Renee Good is a domestic terrorist. I don't know what they call Keith Porter. He was black, so maybe they called him a thug and a gangster and a drug dealer, like they probably did that kind of thing. Alex Jeffrey, the gentleman that was shot today, they're saying they're basically saying he was also a terrorist and maybe possibly potentially a mass shooter, because apparently because he had his gun on him, he was going there to massacre ICE agents. But from the video that we saw, because we believe what we see and what we hear, we saw ICE agents actually beating up Mr. Jeffrey. That's what we saw. But again, we're here because people didn't think it was important to vote. Like, I don't get it. I don't know what, and this is just me talking out loud. I'm probably going to wrap it up in a minute, but I don't understand. Like, I just don't get it. There's just like, every day there's just something that's crazy. And again, we're just talking about that tiny piece of what was happening in immigration just this week. We're not talking about Jack Smith's testimony. We're not talking about Greenland, which I guess is also known as Iceland to Trump. We're not talking about his mental health. We're not talking about the Epstein files have not been released yet. Like, we're not Black history exhibits being removed. We're not even talking about all of that nonsense, right? We can't even get it all in. But if you don't remember, and I remember the first administration very clear, it was like this then too. Our heads were spinning because every time, every moment, there was some new craziness. It's almost like that's a job for someone to just think about, like, what can we do now that would just be honorary and dastardly? Let's make, at the national parks, no more Martin Luther King Day free days. We're going to make Donald Trump's day free days. We're going to take down exhibits. Oh, wait. We're going to add Trump's name to the Peace Center. Like, it's just, like, who's thinking about that? Like, we're going to change the food pyramid to make meat and whole milk the best things to eat. Like, before fruits and vegetables. What else can we do that's just going to kill Americans? Let's change the vaccine schedules. Yeah, that'll get it. That'll do it. Like, I feel like that's somebody's full-time job, is to figure out ways to fuck Americans. That's just what they do. Just fuck Americans. And then there's somebody else's job to be like, what crumbs can we throw them? Let's see. Tax on tips. I love that. Here you go. Okay, everyone. Thank you for showing up. Go back to your Saturdays. If you are living on the East Coast and you are going to get some of this snow, be careful out there. I hope that you have already gone to the grocery store. You don't have to hoard. You don't have to hoard. That is the message. We don't have to hoard anymore. Like, it's not the 70s. It's not the 80s. We don't have to hoard food. They have really good plows and shit that dig us out, and we're able to go to the stores the next day, sometimes even the same day. Like, we don't have to buy all of the bread and all of the peanut butter. Like, what's happening? I was just doing my regular grocery shopping on Friday for Whole Foods, I got a message like first on Friday when I was ordering it. They're like, nah, you can't get it on Friday. You can't get it on Saturday. We'll get it to you on Sunday morning. But I just got something that said, yeah, we'll get it to you on Monday. Okay, I'm just gonna starve people, man. I don't know, man. Anyway, everyone be safe out there. Stay warm and all of that good stuff. I'll see you next week. Thank you, baby Juggernaut. Thank you. I don't have my glasses on. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. Get some Netflix and some snacks. Bye. Trying to end it.